everybody, Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to my weekly deck reviews. So in this weekly series, at least it's weekly right now, I like to review for you guys the tarot and oracle deck I worked with all week and share with you the tarot and oracle deck I'm going to be working with next week. So this is just the way I like to use all of my different decks, is I like to work with one primarily for a week at a time and then I rotate out. At some point that timeline might change, but for now that seems to be my sort of happy space. So with that said, I'm going to jump right into it. If I seem slightly less bubbly than normal, it is fine. I am fine. I am just tired today. So some of that I feel like is going to come through, but yeah, everything is totally fine. I just had like car repairs and a bunch of weird errands and I'm just like, ugh. But I am still super excited to share with you, believe it or not. Still super excited to share with you the tarot deck and the oracle deck that I've been working with this week. So I'm going to just get right into it. So the tarot deck that I have been working with this week is actually the Crystal Visions Tarot. So you guys probably have seen this one kicking around. I'm just pulling it out of its bag and stuff. But this is what the backings look like. Now my copy is trimmed, so there are no borders. This is what the cards look like. I feel like I'm just gonna hold up a couple cards at a time. This, it did have this border all the way around. Now, I've seen this deck around for a while, and some of what turned me off of this deck initially was just there's some funky things artistically where I feel like something just is slightly off from what I prefer to see. But it's really hard for me to articulate that. The Ace of Cups is a beautiful card, but there's something about the way the water is kind of sitting on top and overflowing in a weird way that just, it's like a perspective thing. I don't know how else to say it. But there's something slightly off about the artwork, and that's the one reason why I never quite picked this up. But my sister had picked up a copy, and the more that I saw it, the more that I liked it. I really love the color palette and the fantasy vibe, and I will say that this deck, to me, has a very feminine fantasy quality to it, which I actually really enjoy. Now, me and this deck got off to kind of a weird start because I picked up this deck secondhand. It had already been trimmed and edged, but the corners hadn't been rounded yet, and it was actually edged with a brighter, lighter pink than what you see on it now. But as I started to work with it, I noticed that the color was bleeding off onto my hands like a lot. Like the first couple times I handled it, my hands were like bright pink afterwards. So I was like, now what? So first thing first, I did trim the corners, which I think I might have done after I showed this deck last week. So you might be able to look at last week's deck review video and see that I still had the sharp corners on it, and you can see the original edging color as well and kind of compare. But I trimmed the edges off with my corner rounder, and I feel like I'm showing you the same cards over and over again. And then I re-edged it with my alcohol marker, which has never bled on my hands, before. You know what I mean? Like, it's never rubbed off on my hands before. Love the Stampeding Unicorns for the Eight of Cups, or Eight of Wands, by the way. But I feel like I did just show you guys these cards. Let's go somewhere new. Anyways, and then I found that the rubbing off almost seemed worse. Like, somehow the previous color was rubbing through the re-edging that I did. I don't know. It was a weird thing. So I went onto the group Tarot with Scissors on Facebook and was like, have you guys ever had this happen? I love the Six of Cups. Have you guys ever had this happen? I'm like, what the heck do I do? So got lots of advice, and I haven't tried everything. But one of the things I did do was I kind of held the deck together really tightly like this, and I got some paper towels and put them down, and I just kind of rubbed all of the edges until, because when I first started doing it, I could have drawn with these cards. So I'm thinking that perhaps it was already edged with a water-based marker or something else that comes off more easily. So I rubbed, got most of the color off, I think. And it's still, when I rifle shuffle, I still get pink thumbs. Oh, look, see, I'm even kind of pink right now. Yeah, like I still get pink thumbs. But it is a good and pretty deck, but yeah, it kind of put me off a little bit in the beginning because I love to shuffle, and because it was making my hands pink, I don't think I shuffled as much as I normally shuffle. Like, and that's my bonding activity with my deck, so I don't think we bonded quite right, but I have to say, the imagery, just from like the scenes that are depicted, is so beautiful. One of my favorite Ten of Cups ever here. Let me show you some of my other favorites. There's a lot. The artwork is actually really beautiful, and if I don't look at the detail, like those little weird things that are kind of a little off for me. If I just look at what's being depicted, like how the card is being depicted, I really, really like pretty much all of them. I love this Four of Swords, like a lot. And it doesn't look like she's dead to me at all. It literally just looks almost like she's hibernating in the snow. I don't know how else to say it because it's an energetic quality that I pick up on. Oops, don't drop it. I also really enjoy this Four of Wands, this idea that almost like these two have been on a journey and they're pausing now to take a rest, to enjoy each other's company. I do feel like this would be an excellent deck for beginners. If you are new to Rider-Waite-Smith, or reading tarot, and you want something that depicts Rider-Waite-Smith style imagery, which is something I recommend to people new to tarot because I feel like there's just a lot more selection of Rider-Waite-Smith inspired decks on the market, and I do think it's one of the easier systems to learn of what's out there. If you are new to tarot, I think that this would be an excellent, excellent starter deck because I feel like it shows, it's really good through the courts. It gives you an idea of the personalities of the court cards. I think better than a lot of decks do, to be honest. And I think all of the minors are very beautifully illustrated in a way that you could easily apply any basic beginner tarot book, Rider-Waite-Smith book, to these cards and get something out of it. I know I showed this card already, but I really love this Eight of Cups, this idea that like her cups are in the water and she's just like, it's okay, I'm done, and she's walking away. But yeah, I would heartily recommend this deck to beginners. I think that the messages come through loud and clear. It's extremely simple to pick up and read. I know I showed this, but I want to speak to this. I love the fact that it seems like this woman is making direct contact with her inner child in this Six of Cups. Like, I think that gives you so much to work with. Again, the court cards come through loud and clear. I feel like this is just a very easy breezy deck to work with, and I absolutely adore the colors. I love these pinks and these purples, and if you are a fan of fantasy art, I think this one would just be totally your jam. I also love the presence of all the lotus flowers through the cups. I have no complaints about this deck. The only downside would be, oops, sorry, my phone is making noises. The only downside potentially would be if the artwork isn't your thing. Like if anything about the artwork bugs you, maybe that could be a thing. But I'm really happy I own this deck. I feel like I could read for just about any client, but I would probably be fairly quick to reach for this for, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it would be a really nice, soft, feminine, pretty deck. Sorry, now I'm covering the titles. There we go. I really enjoyed working with it. And again, we got off kind of on the wrong foot a little bit because of the edging issue, and I don't think I maybe bonded with it as well as I have bonded with some others. But I really, really love it. Like, here's another good one to show you. This I actually really love. So this is the Death card. And the inscription there, which I think is Latin, basically means life changed, not ended. That's what the inscription means. And I think that's really powerful. I thought that was a really amazing way to speak to the Death card. And I really liked this Emperor. I think I pulled this for a client, I think this week. But I remember having a really strong feeling about the way that his hand hovers right over this glowing sphere right at his solar plexus. And that just spoke to me on all kinds of levels for the Emperor. It made perfect sense. I got a lot of good intuitive hits off this deck with no effort whatsoever. Like, it was amazing. Love the Tower. Love the Strength card. All my deal breaker cards in this deck were perfect. I think they were perfect for me for what I wanted to see. Queen of Cups I just love. What's another one? Oh, Nine of Cups. This is probably, you guys, one of my favorite Nine of Cups images ever. I love this contentedness. I love that the idea of wishes being fulfilled comes through. I prefer my Nine of Cups to be women because it's a card I identify with for a number of reasons. And that's just something I personally enjoy. Not that it should be a woman, just that I personally like it. You know what I mean? I just love that one. It was fantastic. The Page of Wands, and what I mean it truly, I think if you're new to tarot, this would be such a good deck for getting to know the courts. I think the two decks I would probably, now that I've worked with this is right up there with the Anna Kay, I think, for a great starter deck. As far as showing the personalities and the images. Look at the Lovers. So good. Three of Wands. I'm just going to show you the whole deck, apparently. I actually really, really liked it. And I wasn't sure what I was going to say when I sat down to record the video. I'm like, well, it was good. but actually there's a lot I loved about this deck. There's one extra card called the Unknown card. And I like having cards like this in the deck. It doesn't bother me to have bonus cards, and I usually just read them intuitively. The Little White Book is actually not completely insubstantial. I did read the whole thing. Mine is like really pink from where the cards rubbed off on it, but it's decently, there's decent chunks of text for each card through the minors, and I think about the same amount for the majors, maybe a little bit longer through the majors. I thought it was really good, and like I said, that's where I got the spot, that's where I got that little bit about death, and yeah, oh, life is changed, not taken away, is what that quote means. Life is changed, not taken away. I really liked working with this deck, like a lot. I did a couple spreads for myself with this as well as daily pulls, and I did have a different bag, like a temporary bag, but Peggy gave me one of her new small size bags, so this is like her standard size bag. I'll just show you the difference. This is her standard size bag, nice, and then this is the small, so it's not quite as wide. So for a standard tarot deck or a trimmed standard tarot deck especially, like it's the perfect size. So it's not quite so big. Whereas if I put this deck into into one of her standard bags, it can actually go sideways at the bottom, which is fine if that's what you want. But I really like the new small size for these standard sized or trimmed decks. So yeah, anyway, so she gave me this little dragonfly one, which is such a good match for this deck. And matched the reading cloth that I was working with this week, which I totally bundled up because I stuffed it in that bag, but it had that purple gold and then the dragonflies. So you'll see this behind some of my Instagram posts from this week. I need to like uncrunch that up so I can put it away in my little reading cloth stash. So that was the tarot deck that I worked with this week. The oracle deck that I was working with this week that I currently have in this obnoxiously bright bag. I don't know if it's going to stay in this bag. This is kind of my I don't know what's going to live in here bag, but I do love it. It's very bright. Is the Magical Times Empowerment cards by Jody Bergsma. This is probably more accurately an affirmation deck than an oracle deck, but I did use it like an oracle deck this week, and I enjoyed it. I got great messages from it. I really enjoy the artwork. These are the backs. I did not end up deciding to edge it, mostly because the fronts have these softer colors. They're not all primaries. And they kind of are all over the spectrum, which is why that rainbow bag kind of matches, actually. But the backs are kind of darker, and I had originally thought, well, maybe I'll do like a really bright green or yellow or something from the middle, but I don't want any of those colors, those bright colors, to wrap around the front, I don't think. So for now, it's not edged. I'll probably change my mind. Now, this deck this is a nice sized deck. Let's see. What do I have? I'm going to show you with my trimmed Crystal Visions, which is smaller than a standard tarot, but it'll give you a vague idea of the sizing. So trimmed Crystal Visions. I think this is probably a pretty standard oracle card size deck. But yeah, it's a good size. Here we go. Okay. So the artwork is contained mostly in the center and sort of this circular area that you see in the cards. There's a keyword at the top that's like your primary keyword, and then there's like an affirmative message at the bottom. And there's some really, really nice messages. This also has a really wonderful fantasy vibe, which makes it go really beautifully next to Crystal Visions. I do think these decks paired well together and played very nicely together. I feel like I was able to get some balanced messages from this deck, even though I would say it leans positive and light and not a lot of shadow. I was able to get some sort of neutral messages from it, which I appreciate. I think I'm looking forward to next week something a little bit different, but I really love this, and I do actually look forward to pairing this with using this deck specifically in my Fairy Tale Wisdom reading that I have up on my Etsy shop. I do think it's going to go beautifully with that. I did get a lot of messages this week about like cycles and changes. Like literally I pulled the cycles and the changes card. And I think there was another one. Oh, this was the other one, Pilgrimage. Yeah. No, this is Prosperity. But the other card I got said Pilgrimage. Let's see if I can find it for you. So I feel like, and this was definitely a week where my body was like doing weird things to me and I was fighting it, and it's like, it's kind of hormonal related, and things were just being weird, and you know, that might be too much information, but it was just, yeah, here's Pilgrimage. It was just kind of a weird week for me, and I kind of feel like the cards were like, chill out, man. Everything will be fine. Like, it's gonna be what it's gonna be, and I can't control it, so I just gotta go with it. And it's things like today where I'm having like a low energy day, which is funny because we started out, I'm filming this on Saturday, and we did Self-Worth Saturday this morning, and it was fun, and I was actually kind of hyper and distracted. And then this afternoon, I just like, just kind of crashed. And now I have like no energy. So whatever that's about. But I feel like this deck spoke directly to me. I didn't have any issue connecting with it. And I really do love Jody Bergsma's art. And there are some shadow cards in here. Like here's one that says Adversity. So yeah, I really did enjoy working with this. Oh, look at the friendship card. So pretty. I think that if you enjoy, this is, I would say, slightly leaning towards how I used to look at oracles. I don't know how else to say that. So sort of stereotypical oracle card vibes. If you love those kinds of decks, this is right in that lane. So it's not trying to be, I don't think, a divination deck so much as it's trying to be give you those encouraging messages, kind of a supportive deck. And so using it in that way, this is going to be beautiful. I would not use this deck the way that I would use like an Oracle of Echoes or a Illuminated Earth Oracle or even the new Healers of the Earth Oracle that I just did a review on. I would use this deck for like 1 or 2 supportive messages or like a 3-card personal growth kind of thing, but I would use it like a classic Oracle deck, if that makes any sense. Hopefully it makes sense. Definitely let me know if I don't make sense. I'm always happy to clarify what I mean by the weird things I say on my videos, but yeah, I did really enjoy it. I love this funky little box top, but I do have to say that if I was not keeping this in a bag, which kind of holds this closed, over time, I feel like this would start to like bug me. Like if this was just sitting like this, it doesn't stay closed. If it slid onto a bookshelf with other things pressing on either side, it would be fine. But if this was like just sitting out or sitting like this, like I feel like that would bug me. Just full disclosure. Even though I love the idea of this interesting little opening, I think that there is a similar style that's top loaded that Los Scarabeo has now, where you can like just lift the top off. That might be better, but I actually kind of find the novelty of it neat, so I don't mind it, but I also keep everything in bags, which I hang, as you can see, so I don't really mind that. But so those were wonderful, and they were wonderful together, and if you like that fantasy vibe, these two did pair really, really beautifully. I feel like they kind of kept me in their fantasy world. I didn't feel jarred or pulled out of it, which is something I appreciate. I am like legit so excited to tell you what I'm going to be working with next week, because this was such a fun and exciting find, and I haven't actually talked about it all that much. It came up in my Supportive Tarot Facebook group, and it came up maybe 1 or 2 other places, and for the life of me, right this very moment, I'm completely spacing on who helped me to find out about this, but this is what I'm going to be working with this upcoming week. It is the Harry Potter Tarot by Eleanor Piper. Now, here's the cool thing. So it's just signed because I just got it this year. Eleanor Piper is the artist that did the New Era Elements Tarot, which some of you will probably be familiar with, her art style. She's an excellent artist. This is not a commercially available deck. This is essentially a deck of tarot card sized art prints because it is, of course, it's kind of like fan art, so it's not sold commercially anywhere. It will never be published as a mass market deck, I'm pretty sure. But if you go to Eleanor Piper's DeviantArt fan page, you can view all of the art from all of the cards, and I'm going to start showing you some because they are fantastic. But you can view the artwork there, and then you can private message her if you are interested in purchasing a copy. So right off the bat, I will tell you, it's like, I think she told me it was like $330 GSM. It's standard cardstock, so it's got that bit of a sheen, but it's not like the super glossy oracle card kind of gloss. It's just like a standard tarot card cardstock. It's nice cardstock. I think it'll hold up well. You guys. So here's our Fool, and this is the style of the entire deck. There is these borders all the way around. You've got the number at the top. You've got the title at the bottom. It's all this black and white. I think I said that already, but it's very detailed artwork. Here's our Magician. We've got Harry. So good. And I believe all the Horcruxes are supposed to be in this picture. I have a PDF guidebook that I downloaded that is offered for free right on her DeviantArt page that you can download and read whether you get the deck or not. And I still have to go through that. Is she not perfect for the High Priestess, though? McGonagall. The Empress is Harry's mother. So good. The Emperor is Harry's dad. We know who the Hierophant should be. I really agree with these. Lupus and Tonks for the lovers. Hogwarts Express for the Chariot. I mean, I may or may not do an entire walkthrough on my channel. There is some Thoth or Crowley influences to this deck, and Eleanor does talk about that a little bit on the DeviantArt page, but so you'll see, for example, the keywords through the minors are Thoth keywords. So, for example, the 10 of Swords is oppression, or is this wands? This is the wands, right? Why am I having like a total brain fart? Yeah, this is wands. Sorry, had a moment. The 10 of wands is oppression. That's Hedwig in her cage. The 5 of cups is disappointment. These are Thoth keywords. If you've worked with the Sun and Moon Tarot, or let's pull some other ones. There's a couple here that are, I find that some of the Thoth, I think these are Thoth keywords. Please somebody correct me if this is wrong, because I do not read the Thoth system. I know it's probably pronounced Toth. I'm probably going to forever call it Thoth. I'm sorry. But let's pull up some pentacles. So, for example, this is the 5 of Pentacles, Torment. I'm really looking forward to reading the PDF guidebook cover to cover, because I think this will give me a whole new, the King of Pentacles is so perfect. It's our Hagrid. I'm really excited to work with this deck this week and to read about it and to just get into it. I'm almost certainly going to be, this is the card backs, by the way. It's the Hogwarts logo. Oh, that's something I wanted to show you, is the Judgment card. Yes. Oh, not the Judgment card, sorry. The Wheel of Fortune card is the house points. So those are like the containers that hold the house points at Hogwarts. I love Hermione as strength. Strength is number 11 in this deck because, again, a Crowley influence. The Crowley influence is because Eleanor Piper got her start reading the Thoth deck, I believe. So she's bringing that influence in. But she did keep the traditional page knight queen king as opposed to the page prince queen king hierarchy that you see in the Thoth deck. You guys, it's so good. It makes me happy to look at it. Like, look at the 6 of Wands. Like, the golden snitch has been captured. Is that not perfect for the 6 of Wands? So, I don't know how much, if the keywords are going to mess with me or not. I like the love. I love the 2 of Cups with the love potion being dropped into the cups. Like, it's so good. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I feel like I was just about to say that I think I'm going to edge these in black. I don't know if I said it or just thought about saying it, but I'm probably going to edge them in black. But I love the backs. There have been different versions of this deck, so if you do a search on YouTube, you'll see 1 or 2 walkthroughs. I don't think there's a lot because it's not very well known, or if it is, it's not talked about a lot, I think. But there's been different versions of the backings, and I think there was also a version that was borderless with the titles kind of over top of the art. I think I actually prefer this version. The one thing I will say right off the bat that I'm not a humongous fan of is the way all these little swirlies kind of come in and cover up the artwork. You can see around the border there. Those little white swirlies everywhere. They're all through the deck. And sometimes they're not so bad. Like here's the sun. We have Fox. Phoenix. Sometimes they kind of look nice, but sometimes they just make the images look more, I think, crowded. My camera just interrupted me. How rude. Anyway. So yeah, I think sometimes they just make the images look a little bit more crowded. I'm trying to find a version. Yeah, like here's an image that's a little bit busier to begin with. This is the 5 of Swords, Conflict. And it's already a pretty busy image, and then you've got those swirls in there too, and I just think it adds more visual distraction. Oh, I love the 8 of Cups being all of these potions. But it says despair. So some of the Thoth keywords or Thoth keywords, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but we shall see. But I'm so excited, and I can't wait to, in case I haven't mentioned already because I got interrupted by my camera, but I'm really excited to read the PDF guidebook and really get to know all of her choices and where they all fit into the stories, and I love Harry Potter, so I'm excited. I'm excited. And the bag I chose for this, Peggy had this fabric up in her shop around Halloween time, and she made some reading cloths. I don't know if there's any left. There's no fabric of this left, I know that, but I don't know if she has any items left in her shop with this fabric, but she ended up making a bag and it went upside down. So the pattern actually goes this way. And I was like, I'll take that one! And it's so perfect for the Harry Potter deck, because it's all black and white and has all these cool little witchy sort of things all over it, so I thought it was perfect. The Oracle deck that I'm working with this week, I'm so excited about. So this is, I'm going to be working with the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle. This is by Kelly Sullivan Walden, and the artwork is by Rassouli. I am so excited to own this deck. You guys just don't know. I found out about this deck coming out, and I found one or two walkthroughs because it's very new. Like, I think this is copyright 2019. And I resonated immediately with the images. I'm familiar with the concept of the Hero's Journey by Joseph Campbell, which this deck is partly based on. And it's actually called the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle because there's also an element here around dream interpretation. Now, I have my own personal dream interpreter in the house because Peggy is really great at helping me interpret my dreams, but I really just loved every card image that I saw, all the keywords, everything just made perfect sense to me. The images are absolutely breathtaking, and I think this is probably, like, just objectively my most beautiful Oracle deck artistically. It is gorgeous. Rassouli's art is stunning. This art feels like it was very much created for this deck, and if it wasn't, then the choices were really well done. I find his art to be extremely transportive. Is that the right word? Transportive? Transportative? Transportive. It's beautiful. I don't know what it's going to be like to work with, but I have a feeling that I am going to love it. I've done some flip through of the guidebook, and I've kind of taken some peeks here and there, and I have a feeling I'm going to just love working with this deck. Look at this card, the Thin Veil. Partly what I like is that there are titles, but there is also subtext. So the Thin Veil means something to me, but it might not mean something to everybody. And underneath that it says let go and let glow. There's enough text right on the card, I think, to get a message that's meaningful and useful, whether or not you even dig into the guidebook, which is one of my major things that I look for in an Oracle deck. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And like the return speaks to a specific part of the hero's journey. It literally just takes my breath away. Oh, and I think I got distracted, but I am so grateful to own this deck because the first time I saw it, I was like, yes, because I have looked and I've owned another deck that had Rassouli's artwork, but I find that I tried to connect with the Rumi Oracle, and I've also looked through the Journey to Love Oracle, which are both Alana Fairchild collaborations, and I just couldn't connect with them. The messages, the theme, it wasn't for me. And this deck is so gorgeous. It's borderless. It's beautiful. I love that it's glossy, kind of like the same way that I love that my Unicorn Oracle is glossy, because it just feels like almost like a photo glossy. I don't know. It's beautiful. I'm going to keep saying it's beautiful because it's beautiful. But I will definitely let you guys know how it reads this week. I will hopefully get a chance to read through a good portion of the guidebook. We'll see how that goes. But the guidebook is not insubstantial. There are some spreads in here, because I just saw some. Yeah, there's a few spreads in here. So there's a 3-card spread, there's a 4-card spread, a medicine wheel layout. I think there's also, I thought I saw something about a hero's journey layout, but maybe not. If not, I'm pretty sure that there is a good one that Kelly Fitzgerald from The Truth in Stories put out. There's information in here about the hero's journey, and then when you get into the actual card descriptions, you get the title of your card, a mini black and white image, a quote, which I love. So for example, this one is "Make the grade with flying colors. Remember, you signed up for this," which speaks to me on so many levels. I can't with that. And then the quote is, "When they attack you and you notice that you love them with all your heart, your work is done." Byron Katie. There are some good quotes in here, and it's got me really excited. So I am looking forward to that. And the book is it's a Blue Angel deck, so the book is larger in dimension than the cards, which is my only beef. I love the meaty guidebooks, but I really want these things to be the same size, but they do both fit together in my Peggy bag, so that is fine. If you guys want a flip through or walk through on either one of these decks in more detail, either the Hero's Journey Oracle or the Harry Potter Tarot, let me know. I would be happy to do a walkthrough of either or both if I have time. So if I have time, I will do both if they are wanted. So comment below and let me know. If they're not necessarily both wanted, or if they are both, wait, let me see. What am I trying to say? If they are both wanted, I might have to pick one if I'm limited on time. So if that's the case, let me know which you are most excited to see a walkthrough about, and I will do that one, or I will focus on that one, depending on like popular interest. I think that the Harry Potter Tarot might be the one that's worth doing because I don't think there's a lot on this deck yet. So yes, and if you want more information on how to get the Harry Potter Tarot, also comment down below. I'll try to remember to put it in the description box, but sometimes I forget to populate the description box or the cards until my video has been up for a couple of days because I get squirrely. So if you don't see the information there and you want to know, just hit me up with a message or comment down below, and I will definitely give you that information. That is it. Oh wait, reading cloth. The reading cloth I'm going to be working with this week is actually an oldie. This is actually a single layer reading cloth. Mine has little bits of wax on it, actually, because this is also a bit of an altar cloth. But it's just a single layer that Peggy folded over the, kind of hemmed the edge for me and put a decorative stitch on it. But this one's really fun because it's got a bit of a duochrome sort of look to it. And I like to kind of scrunch this up and then just like stuff it in a bag. And then you get this kind of like cool, it's creased a bit now because it's been folded. But once it's been bunched up a bit, it gets this cool like wrinkly, neat look. I think this is silk, but it's a different kind of silk. So don't call me on that, but it's a little bit roomy, but I felt like working with something kind of like this week, so that's what's going to be probably in my Instagram photos if you see a cloth behind things. So I'm going to stuff that in with my Harry Potter Tarot. It's one thing I like about my Peggy bags is I can usually stuff a cloth in there with my deck. Anyways, I've been talking for like a bazillion hours and I had to refilm part of this, so I'm going to call it here and maybe have a nap. But I am really looking forward to hearing your guys' thoughts on what I worked with last week, what I'm working with this week, what you think of the Harry Potter Tarot and all that kind of stuff. So hit me up down below. Don't forget to hit like and all that good stuff. And I will see you all again very soon. Bye!